Hey guys, and welcome to the Sinful Sound podcast. I'm your host, Ben, and today we're going to talk about wine. This is a brief overview of how wine is made and why it tastes the way it does. Wine 101. Don't overthink it, it's just fermented grape juice. This is my first episode, so please, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, put them down below on the link. So, the origin of wine. So, ancient wine production evidence, not to get into the detail and bore you with all of this, but it dates back to around 6000 BC, and there's ancient winery sites found in what is now known as Armenia, Georgia, and Turkey. Yes, Turkey is a country, not just something you feast on Thanksgiving when you're hungry. By the way, Hungary is a country too. But that's not the point. Let's move back to wine. So how do you make wine? You turn grape juice into wine by added yeast to it. So in order for alcoholic fermentation to take place, you need yeast. What are yeast? Microscopic organisms that eat sugar and convert it into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Essentially, you're going to harvest your grapes, press them. That's going to give you grape juice. Add the yeast, that turns it into alcohol. And that's how you make wine. The grape growing cycle. So you're going to go, first of all, it takes 5 years for a vineyard to be commercially viable. Let's say you buy land, you plant a vine, it's going to take 5 years for that vine to grow and for you to be able to harvest the grapes and make wine. You do the winter pruning, then you have what you call the bud break, the flowering, the fruit set. That's what you see, those really tiny hard green berries there. Then the canopy management, we could have a whole class on that. But essentially, it's the exposure of the vine's leaves and fruit to the sun, what you call photosynthesis. Then you do pruning, shoot trimming, and green harvest. And again, that's completely up to the winemaker's styles and choice and how he wants his yield to be at his winery. Crop thinning, again, deciding on what kind of yield you want. Veraison, that's when the berries turn from green to red, and then you harvest the grape. Now, what is the main difference between red wine and white wine? Well, there is the most important one is what happens during fermentation. So you harvest your grapes, you get in the vineyard, you hire a bunch of people to harvest all the grapes. Some wineries pride themselves in being fully 100% hand harvested. Others use tractors and machinery. Hand harvested is definitely more labor intensive, so usually there'll be more selective wineries that have a more expensive wines. Crushing the grapes, so that's when you crush all the berries, all the grapes, you put that in a fermentation vessel with the skins and the seeds. Okay, so you put that with the skins and the seeds, sometimes the clusters, to get a more layered or another element of structural elements to the wine. But red wine, you always ferment the wine with the skins and the seeds. Then fermentation, you add the yeast to it and the fermentation starts. And again, the color and the tannin is extracted from the skins, the seeds, and the cluster, if it's a whole cluster fermentation. Okay, that's the main difference between red and white. Bear with me for a second here. Then we press the grapes. The skins are pressed to release any remaining wine. Then we're going to age the wine, aka maturation. That's when wine is stored in stainless steel tanks or oak barrels. And then we bottle the wine and ready to sell, ready to be on the market. Then white wine, again, bear with me, we're going to harvest, crush the grapes, and the juice is put in fermentation vessels with the skins and the seeds. Then we press the grapes, the skins are pressed to release any remaining wine, but then we add the yeast without the skins and the seeds, so no skin contact. Okay, and that's why red wine is red, because you get all the color, that red color from the skins, all of the pigments from the red wine, from that Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Zinfandel, Pinot Noir, whereas White wine, there's no skin contact. That's why the wine is white. It's not because even if you grab if you have Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot, if you press, although they're white berries, white grape or red grapes, pardon me, you're gonna have a clear juice. So try, even if you buy at the store red grapes, press them, put them in a juicer. Well, not in a juicer, but just press them, and you'll have a clear white juice. And if you were to put white wine and ferment it with the skins, you would have what is now becoming more and more popular, something you call orange wine. You'd still get some color from the extraction of the skins. So that's the main difference between white wine and red wine. Hopefully that was not too confusing. And then the rest of the process is the same. Aging, either stainless steel or oak barrels. A lot of Chardonnays nowadays are aged in oak barrels because Chardonnay is a very neutral grape, so it's a blank canvas, so to speak, that you paint and add layers of complexity via aging in oak or doing other things with it, and then bottling the wine and selling it. Oak aging, French and American oak. This is a beautiful Chateau Pape Clement in Bordeaux, amazing winery on the left bank in Pessac-Léognan. So the main difference between French oak and American oak, French oak has more subtle flavors of vanilla, baking spices, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg. Think Burgundy Pinot Noir, left bank Bordeaux, whereas American oak has stronger, more assertive flavors of coconut, dill, vanilla, just more robust, in your face, so to speak, type of flavors. So think Rioja Reserva, Orange Swift brand. And regardless of French or American oak, and there's more, but these are the most common types of oak, French and American. We're going to season the barrel by giving it a light, medium, or heavy toast or char. So on a light toast, the fruit will dominate. If you get a medium toast, more vanilla notes, and then a heavy smoke or a heavy toast, you'll get more smoky, dark chocolate espresso notes. Stainless steel, again, neutral flavors in there. And then the structure of the wine, there's four main components: acid, alcohol, body, and tannin. Acidity is the sourness. It's what makes your mouth salivate. Sweetness can tone down the perception of acidity. Think lemon versus lemonade. Alcohol. We all know what alcohol is. It is best sensed on the palate, back of the throat, and burnt in your chest. That's why if you take a shot of tequila, you'll feel it in your chest, whereas a sip of wine, you'll feel it more on the, upper part of your throat. Body of the wine, think of milk, non-fat versus whole milk versus heavy cream. A heavy cream is going to coat your palate, the roof of your mouth. You're going to almost chew on it, versus a non-fat milk will be kind of watered down. So it's correlated to the alcohol level. Tannins is a pleasant bitterness, astringency. That's what dries out your mouth. It's a naturally occurring compound found in grape skins, seeds, and stems, also found in dark tea and dark chocolate. So that's why a heavy cab goes really well, like a tannic wine goes really well with a very marbled ribeye, because that richness of the ribeye and the salt will make your mouth salivate, and then the highly tannic structure of a cab or any other high tannin wine will just reset your palate and dries everything out of your mouth to go make you go for that other bite. So everything here, think of a diamond: acid, alcohol, body, tannin should be um, pretty balanced. Nothing should stand out. It should all be very harmonious if the wine is done right. Okay. And that is episode 1. And this is Chevalier Montrachet in Burgundy, France. I took a picture of that. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, this is the first episode of Wine 101. The second one will go more in depth and talk about wine more and the different characteristics and aromas and profiles of red and white wine. But again, this is the first class, so let me know what you think. First episode. Hope everything was easy to understand. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. And hope that was fun for you, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.